Welcome to the new section of web programming. In this section, we are going to explore something related to dynamic HTML. What is the use of DHTML and what will be the variation between a HTML and DHTML? Okay. So starting with some of the importance of DHTML, in case if I'm going to write a DHTML program, how do I write it? And if I write, what will happen? That is what we are going to check in this particular uh, presentation. Okay. Prior knowledge before we go to the HTML, little bit of knowledge you should have all about the formatting elements, the structure of HTML. How do I write a normal HTML program? This part of knowledge should be there. And what do you mean by tabulation element? That is what is table? How do I put a table? How do I put a list? How do I use the form controls? How do I use hyperlinks? This part of knowledge should be minimum is minimum requirement in order to learn a DHTML. But DHTML is all about extension, I can say. We're going to do something else for a normal HTML program. So for that, first we have to know or have a minimum ideas how do I write a basic HTML program. Then we can do the add-ons. Okay. So this DHTML, we cannot directly take a page and say I'm going to store it with .dhtml extension and this became a DHTML program. No. So for this DHTML, I mean, if I have to say this is a DHTML program, we should have four basic properties. Okay, four basic property. Initially, we will use a cascading style sheet. Okay, style sheet is to divide the content, the text content and the styles separately, make a template and implement to multiple pages. That is style sheet actually. Okay, to do implement style sheets or to write some script application to post some set of operations or post some condition, post some looking statement or create a modularity with function or implement some objects. So these are things if I want to do, then I'll go for script application. I want to connect it to the database application, then I go for the extendable markup language, that is your XML, and connect all these things together. I'll go for document object module. So these four elements, if I implement in a normal HTML page, these four elements, if I implement in a normal HTML page, that becomes a DHTML. So I put out a point here that we never store a page with .html extension. Instead, if at all I am writing a CSS program or I am using the script application or I am using a XML or a DOM, it is understood it is a DHTML program. Okay. So what are the CSS property? We are going to look into only one phase of that. Okay, in the upcoming session, and then in later on other videos, we will look into the event handling and other properties. As of if at all, as I discussed in the previous slide, I have to say what are the properties of DHTML. It is CSS, script, event, and DOM. Okay, how do I implement CSS? CSS implemented in multiple forms, and basically we use external style sheet, embedded, inline, and import. More in detail about these style sheets, we will get on in the next videos. Okay. So what I will do using these style sheets, I can either change a font property, text property, background property, box property. These are the properties. These are the properties we have. Okay, these are the select tasks we have. We are going to implement these properties for a normal HTML element. That is what is the variation. Okay, that is what is the variation. How do I implement? We will take a very normal HTML page. We can either change the text style, text variant, okay, text decoration and font, the size we can change. Generally, it happens if I use H1, it has a fixed size as something 7, and I'm going with that. Never, you just did you ever try that making a H1 size into some 70 or something? We never tried it. Let's take I want to implement the H1, but I just want to use the H1 size with the let's take 70 font. So H1, this is my tag. This is the way I use. So can you did you ever try doing as style is equal to or just to say right, I'm sorry, size is equal to and 70. If I do like this and try to execute, ultimately nothing will happen. Nothing will happen because size is not the property of H1 tag. Okay, size is not the property of H1 tag. Nothing will happen in this case because it will ignore the size property because that is not the reserved property of H1. So yeah, then you may tell as use the property for a size for whichever element is available. Yes, then I can go for something called as font. And for font, we have a property called as size. That is, we have an attribute called as size. So for font, if I say size is equal to, yes, this is absolutely a correct expression. I can do like this. I can say size is equal to. Unfortunately, if you say 70 or 700 also, it happens that it will give you the maximum size, but it will not take you the 70 size. It will not take. Ma'am, I want to do something like that. In that case, we will use the major concept called as CSS. Okay, this CSS, using this CSS, I can increment, decrement, or do anything with the font. Okay, change the color for any HTML element. That is the point. I can do it for H1, I can do it for paragraph, I can do it for list, for any HTML element. That is the beauty here. I can give the borders. Borders generally will apply to the table, but apart from table, if I want to use the borders, I can go with CSS border properties. I can implement a background color even for a normal paragraph. Generally for marquee, table, and body background, we were using this background as of now. And apart from that, I want to implement background, we will go with the background CSS properties. Okay, these four properties can be used for any HTML element. Okay, now you want to see how it is going to be implemented. Yes, we will see. We will see with a small example in the next coming slides. Okay, this is the syntax. This is the syntax as how do I implement. So if it is HTML, so then you have to remember some terminology. In HTML, I used to say tag as an element. Okay, I used to say tag as an element, and this is the attribute, and these are the values. Okay, these are the values. Right. Now, when I come to DHTML, the terminology change. Okay, the terminology change. So what happens in DHTML is, see, this element becomes selector. Element becomes selector. Here I'll call it as a selector. Now, in this case, what is the element I have? Font. So if I have to write font here, font becomes selector. Now, what is the selector? As of this slide I'm using is what is the selector. Okay, for this particular selector, you implement some set of properties. That is the meaning. That is the meaning. And in HTML, I'll call it as an attribute, but in CSS, I'll call it as a property. HTML, I'll call it as an attribute. CSS, I'll call it as a property. Remember this one. Okay, so why, see, in when I say attribute, remember attribute is limited to element. If I say font, I can use size. For H1, we cannot use size. For paragraph, we cannot use size. And for paragraph, I can use align, but I cannot use align for a HR tag. Like that, it is reserved. Attributes are reserved, but properties are not reserved. Properties can be used for any HTML element. Okay, and when I come to attribute, I'm supposed to give the values in double quotation, but when I come to properties, I'm going to mention the values in the numerical format, either with a pixel or point or in percentage. So this is the syntax of your DHTML. I repeat again, in HTML we'll call it as element, DHTML will call it as selector, HTML will call it as attributes which are limited to tags, and DHTML will call as properties which has a universal application. And HTML values are given in double quotation, and DHTML values are given in numerical format. And in DHTML, every attribute, I mean every property is terminated with a semicolon. One more property I want, I'll go with one more property, then put a semicolon. Here we will use a space, but here we'll use a semicolon. And major point you have to observe and understand, the assignment operator, here we are using equal to symbol, and here we are using a colon symbol. Very, very important, children. This part, a small mistake we do also, we are not going to get our output properly. And here we will not have any sub property specification, but instead here I have a sub property specification. Okay, to the end of this pin, what all you have to remember? One, you have to remember the name of the selector, property name, sub-property name given with a hyphen symbol, and colon symbol is the assignment operator, and values are given in numerical form, either with pixel, point, or percentage. Okay, so we will just check in case if at all I am working with a HTML and DHTML. Okay, HTML and DHTML. In that case, how my program is going to change. Okay, I'll just put on a small example for you here. Okay. So example. Okay. So this is my page. This is my page. Right. This is my HTML page, which is given with some tabular elements. What are we using in HTML? Formatting tags, list forms, tables. Okay. This is a very small HTML page where I'm using images. Okay. Nothing will happen. I click here, here, here. Nothing will happen. Okay. So now if I change the same program with DHTML, now just see, I got a beautiful background. Okay. I'm taking my mouse pointer on the text and it has been increased with a specific size and the font is changing. Okay. This I got a border, beautiful border is displayed. Okay. I take my pointer, something is happening. I take my pointer on the image, images are changing. I click here, the colors are changing. Okay. This login ID password I'm getting beautifully. Previous it was very static. Okay, it was static and I type inside it is coming with the default font. But now that see, check inside also I'm able to change. Okay, so this is the difference between your normal HTML program and a DHTML program. Okay, so that's all we have learned. So what we learned, what is DHTML, what are the properties of DHTML, 4 properties, don't forget. CSS, event handling, script application and DOM. Okay, what is CSS and what is the syntax of CSS we were learning. Okay, then in the next sessions we will see what are the types of CSS and small examples. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much.